you know, there's a cantor's manual, there's a rabbi's manual. Really good. And there's like sort of a lot of suggestions. There's sort of there's a standard, but everyone varies, like what psalm you do when.
And what translation I like.
Translation.
Yeah, and it really depends on like the family, because if I know it's like, you know, an old time traditional family, I'll use like a familiar translation. If there's more Yiddishkeit, I'll use more Hebrew and more of the traditional Psalms.
Exactly.
If it's people that are really, you know, not that much in the know, I will adjust accordingly.
Absolutely.
I was telling Ken and Jeff, it's the first time I led a shiva minyan with people wearing hijabs.
What do you mean?
Like people who knew
People
Alan.
who were there to pay shiva calls for the minyan who were wearing hijabs. They were
Oh, not that. Oh, got it. Yeah. Wow, because he was friends with a lot of different people.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. I always wonder, I mean, ever since my future daughter-in-law questioned the use of Kedat Moshe Israel in the wedding ceremony, because people would hear Israel and think we were talking about the country. I'm so hypersensitive about every prayer that uses the word Israel.
Why is that bad? Why is that?
Oh, let's not talk about
That's not good.
that. That's not good.
Because she has issues with it? Is with Israel?
Let's not go there.
As I say, she's got a very diverse group of friends.
Yes, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading this book called Reclaiming Our Story by Ben, God, now I'm going to forget his last name.
Yeah, that's you.
He wrote another book called Jewish Pride. He's a Scottish, gay, Jewish rights activist, about Jewish pride, Jewish educator about the Holocaust and everything. And he talks about this, about like us, we internalize the non-Jewish world's beliefs about us. You know, like if you're around people that are always talking crap about, you want to be accepted. So, yeah, it's pretty profound stuff.
Oh, no.
It's 6:30.
Yeah, I know.
Are we ready?
Sort of. I'm not finding. Yeah, we could start.
We are live.
We're live? Okay. Give me 1 second.
So nice to see the gang all here.
Sorry. Oh, no, I don't know that. I don't know. What is?
Oh, no.
Rabbi the Daphne Rosenberg.
I'm having trouble finding that. How does that go again? Niggin that we start with.
We can do that. I like that one.
Yeah, but I don't know. No, lead it. Lead it.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Why not? Bum 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 bum. Ba-da. Ba-da-dum bum. Ba-da-dum bum. Da-da-da-dum bum bum. Da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-na-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na. Ya-na-na-na. Da-da-da-da. actually warm in here. Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, everybody. Let's wave hello to everybody in YouTube land. Hi, Mom. Hi, Stephanie. Hello to everybody else who didn't tell me they were going to be here.
Hello, you, too.
Hey, Jill, would you light the candles and offer us the reading on page 3? Either the top one or the bottom one, whichever one is speaking to your heart today. That's so pretty. I warn you, they're trick candles.
Glenn, if that case is in your way, please move it.
Told you they were trick candles. See what I mean? No.
Okay, then I won't. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
That's why.
Ah. Page 3.
O source of light and truth. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
We rise as we are able for Kiddush.
Sure, why not?
And we are on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציית מצרים.
כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך הוא ברוך שמו, מקדש השבת. Okay, so before we sit down, can we cross the aisles a little? I think we probably know one another's names, but why don't you share a wish for 2023 with one another? A blessing, a prayer, or a wish. And remind each other of your names if you're not 100% sure that they remember you. May our dreams and our wishes and our prayers for 2023 come true. Page 12. Page 20, Lecha Dodi.
So it's been a while since we have done this one. This is the Abba Yudaya, the Ugandan Lecha Dodi.
We talked about them last night in our class.
Oh, did you?
Yes, we did. Tom, in our class, in our adult, and Seth in our Adult B'nai Misfit class, we talked about this, the Ugandan Abba Yudaya Jews who write their own songs to the traditional liturgy. This is one of those musical selections that they have set to Lecha Dodi.
And just in case you don't know, we're going to do the chorus and then verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikavela. Shachmo v'zachor v'torecha ish miyanu el ha'meyuchad. עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה. כל עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. בחנוני לקראת חלה, הנה שבת נתקבלה. בחנוני לקראת חלה, הנה שבת נתקבלה.
Please remain standing for the Baruch on page 28. If we're not warmed up on the outside, then we're warmed up on the inside and ready to stand and praise. Ya na na, ya na na na, ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na, ya na na Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Leolam Vaed. Nai, nai, nai. Nai, 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 nai. Nai, 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 nai. We're on page 30. Hey, Ben, why don't you warm us up musically while we read it in the English? Let's read together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Top of the page.
Yadadai, dai, dai, yadai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים,
מסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם,
ברקיע כרצונו. ידעי, די,
בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, אורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
אמן.
שמע
שמע
ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Let's read the translation this evening, shall we? On the bottom of page 36 all together. You shall love Adonai with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus shall you remember to observe all my mitzvot, and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, thank you. That you alone are God and we are Israel, your people. And they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously, as we do now on 40, page 40. Let's hear that joy.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עוסק פלא, נורא תהילות עוסק פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך הים לפני משה ומרים זהרינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם who is like you, O God, among all the gods that are worshipped, majestic in holiness, awesome, working wonders.
כיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגלוי מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך שמו.
גאל ישראל.
Page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, O guardian, to a renewed life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace and guide us. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, please be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against illness, war, famine, sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. For you, God, watch over us, deliver us.
Ushmot zeitenu.
You're gracious and you're merciful. Guard our going and our coming to life, to peace, evermore.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomrenu lechaim.
Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. 44 Vishamru.
This is a Vishamru. Some of you met my wife, Deborah Strauss. And this is the Vishamru and her family that she learned from her father. It's not completely unknown, but it's not that well known. I hope you will learn it and sing along. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam be'eni u'ein b'nei Yisrael or hilei olam ki sheshet yamin asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz ve'et haaretz Uvayom ha-shvi Shabbat Shabbat vayinafash
ביום השביעי, שבת, שבת,
Invite us to rise, please, for the Amidah, our private audience with our innermost self, our Creator, spark that animates us. Page 46.
Adonai sifata yiftach ufiha giteilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, U'meg v'Yula Lifnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Ata Rav Le'oshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim Berofei Holim, Umatir Rasulim, Umekayem Emunato B'Shenei Afar, Michamocha B'Gevurot, Umidom Elav, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua.
ונאמנת על החיות המתים, ברוך אתה אדוני
וחושמה אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, מיכאל הקדוש. Invite you to finish your prayer privately between pages 54 and 60, or the pages of your heart. קידשת את יום השביעי לשמך, תכלית מעשה שמיים וארץ. וברכתו מכל הימים וקידשתו מכל הזמנים, וכן כתוב בתורתך, היו לו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם. בכל הימים ביום השביעי, טוב אשר עשה, לשבות ביום השביעי. וכן אלוהים את יום השביעי וקדש אותו, כבוא שבת בכל מלאכתו בשעה אלוהים לעשות. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, רצה בנבחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, תן חוגנינו בתורתך. 62.
At
the bottom.
Shalom Imroma. Uyase Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel. Imru.
Invite us to turn to page 253 for the Mishaberach, the blessing, the prayer for healing. I know we're holding so many people in our hearts for all kinds of healing. Healing of body, spirit, psyche, self, relationship. People who are hurting. Holding in our hearts Millie Rottenberg, Howard Simon, Gloria Berkowitz, Gittel Bat Chana, Beryl Ben Sima Vishmua Leib, Steve Gellis, Sholem Avram Ben Goldaveh Yeshayahu, Michael Rosenblum, Harav Miriam Yael, Chaya Bat Sarah Yitzchak, Maxwell Zwain, Menachem Mendel Ben Yehuditu Michael, Eric Rivchin, Luke Wright, Kendall, Chaya Rafaela Bat Yehudit Sharon, Kathy Gale, Dolores McKell, Harav Eliyahu Ben Miriam Va'avraham, Anita Wellen, James Janelle and Bill Edgar, Dr. Valerie Lanier, Eliatario, William Hall, Barbara Hall, Nahama Fega, Vivian Chong, and Wendy Chong. And to these names we add wholeness soon. And bless those who are caring for them as well. So Shabbat Shalom.
But
Happy New Year. So I just want to sort of take a poll on your favorite series that you've been watching on TV lately, whether it's Netflix or some other cable. What's really got your attention lately? Nothing. West Wing. Reruns. This is good. This is all about reruns. This is good. John? Nothing? Not a TV guy? Willow. What's that one? Huh. Okay. What one? What's yours, Trent? The Office. Okay. You got one? What's your favorite? Okay. Seth, you got one? No? Ben? The Crown, for sure. All right, so most of you, if not all of you then, you know the feeling, right? When you finish watching the last episode of the final season, right? That feeling when you know that there's not going to be any more of your favorite characters, the storylines that you love, and all you can do from this point on is just binge watch the reruns, right? Exactly. From the beginning, so you can reconnect, you can get in touch again with the characters that have become like a part of you. They kind of live with you. Well, it doesn't matter how many times I read it, I always feel the same way when we get to the book of Genesis, the end of the book of Genesis, which is where we are now, right? We have to say goodbye to the drama, the family squabbles, the mysteries, the psychological nuances, and the intrigue. There's really no book like it, the book of Genesis. The Torah works the same way, right? Each parsha is the weekly episode. It drops on Shabbat afternoon, just like it is with the classics. The Jewish people notice something different when we go back and we read it again, when we catch it on the reruns. We've been running reruns on this for a very long time. So here we are at the very end of, this is awfully loud, isn't it? No? I feel like I'm just like totally reverberating. Here we are at the end of the book of Genesis. So all of the brothers, all of Jacob's 12 sons, they're all really nervous. Why? Because Jacob dies, and they don't want to know. I mean, they want to know, is Joseph going to take revenge on him now that their father is gone? I mean, he said that he forgave them, but they did sell him into slavery. They did make sure, see them, pass him off as dead, watch as the caravan of Egyptians take him off and never to be seen from again, or so they thought. Does he really forgive them? Joseph tells his brothers, don't worry about it. Why? Joseph says, because it was all a part of God's master plan. And here we are, the very end of Genesis, the entire family, the whole mishpacha, all 70 of them, they are now reunited in Egypt, and Jacob, their father, dies. And they want to know, is Joseph going to take revenge? Are they really forgiven? And what does he say? He says, no, don't worry about it. He says, this is all part of God's master plan. You might not see it, but everything that's happened up until now has been part of some kind of divine plan. What happened up until now? Well, Joseph's brothers, they all have gone off without him. He's left alone. And he says to some unnamed man, have you seen my brothers? And the man says, yeah, sure. They all went off to Timnah to shear some sheep. And he goes up to Timnah. And when they see him coming, those brothers, they say, here comes that dreamer. Why don't we throw him in this pit? No, better yet, let's sell him off to slavery. And that's exactly what they do. They sell him off to slavery. And off he gets, carted off to Egypt by this caravan, where he gets turned into a slave in this guy named Potiphar's house. And what does he do in Potiphar's house? He rises to the top like he's the chief slave. Well, Potiphar's wife has his eyes on Joseph. And things don't really go Joseph's way. He's trying to do his best, but next thing he knows, Potiphar's wife is blaming him for something he didn't do. Next thing you know, Joseph is in jail. Next thing you know, he's in jail with the Pharaoh's baker and Pharaoh's cupbearer. And they're ready to be executed when all of a sudden they have dreams too. And they say, what happened to these dreams? And Joseph says, hang on a second. I know exactly what those dreams are going to mean. And he says to the cupbearer, don't you worry. You're going to be exonerated. Before you know it, your cup's going to be back in Pharaoh's hands, and you're going to be back in the palace. And the baker says, hey, what about me? And he goes, yeah, no, not so good. Birds are going to be pecking from your head in those same 3 days. And just as they're dragging off the baker to the gallows, and they're taking back the wine cupbearer back to Pharaoh's palace, Joseph says, hey, remember me. Next time you need a dream interpreter, remember me. Well, they don't remember, but years go by, and Joseph's rotting in prison when Pharaoh has these dreams. And next thing you know, the baker's saying, oh, I remember exactly. There was this guy in prison, his name was Joseph, and he was really, really good at dreams. And next thing you know, Joseph's interpreting Pharaoh's dream. Next thing you know, Joseph is number 2 in all of Egypt. And the whole world is starving except for the Egyptians, and everybody's going to Pharaoh, and going to Joseph, and he is a very, very big deal at this point. And who comes before him but his brothers, begging for food? And what's Joseph going to do? Well, he's looking totally Egyptian, and nobody's recognizing him because, of course, he's speaking Egyptian. He's walking like an Egyptian. He's dressing like an Egyptian. He's got an Egyptian wife. He's got Egyptian kids. But he knows his brothers, and he's got their number. And he's going to play a little cat and mouse game. And he sends them away, and he sends them back, and he sends them away, and he sends them back. And he says, hey, make sure next time you bring in my little brother Benjamin, your little brother Benjamin. Well, this is going to be a whole lot of trouble, and that's going to be a story for another time. But eventually, it's all too much for Joseph. And he reveals himself, and nobody can really believe that so much time has gone on. And then what happens? He says, bring Father here to us. Everything's going to be okay. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of land for the cattle and for the goats and for our families. Come down to Egypt. And this is exactly how it works. And here we are at the end of the book of Genesis, when Jacob dies and the brothers are really left alone, wanting to know, am I forgiven or not? And Joseph says, don't worry. It's all part of a bigger plan. You might not see it, but remember, I'm a dreamer. And when I have my dreams, I can see things a little farther than maybe most people can't. And I know that all of this is for a reason. So yeah, I was a little angry for a while. I was really angry for a while. And yeah, you might be worried, but don't you worry. It's all for a reason. Because next thing you know, 400 years go by, and things aren't so good in Egypt. We're no longer the welcome, honored guests of Pharaoh. We are now enslaved for 400 years. And so what's up with this whole grand purpose now? This is all for a purpose? This slavery, we're all for a purpose? But next thing you know, God remembers the Israelites and says, I'm going to strike down this nasty old Pharaoh, and I'm going to show the world who's boss with signs and wonders. And we are going to be taken out of Egypt. All those Israelites who are now not 70 of the family, but there are thousands and thousands of the family. And they leave Egypt, they cross the Sea of Reeds, and they go to Sinai, and they get the Torah, and they wind up wandering through the desert for 40 years until they cross over finally into the land flowing with milk and honey, what is going to become the land of Israel, which is going to be our homeland. And this ragtag group of people, freed slaves, they become us. And they become the thousands of synagogues throughout the world. and the countless generations of Jews and the unbelievably too big to count number of times that Shabbos candles have been lit in Jewish homes for thousands of years. How many Shabboses have we sung these songs? How much literature, how much ink has been spilled, all because that one guy said, yeah, they went down to Timnah to shear some sheep. And if it wasn't for that one guy who said, yeah, they went down to Timnah to shear some sheep, we wouldn't be here. Joseph is a dreamer. He sees things in those dreams and he knows they're going to come true. Did he see us sitting here? Did he hear those songs? I don't know. But one thing I do know is that in this last installment, this last episode, in this last series, this last season in the book of Genesis, Jacob, just before he dies, he takes his two grandsons that were born to Joseph, his beloved son, who he thought he was never going to see again in his whole life, let alone his sons, his grandsons by his beloved Joseph. And Jacob makes them his own. On his deathbed, he puts his hands on their heads and he says, "You're mine. You count as my sons no less than any of my other children." And those children, they're known as Manasseh and Ephraim. And normally we know that with the right hand we bless the older one, Manasseh, and the younger one with our left hand, Ephraim. But what does Joseph do? Not Joseph. What does Jacob do? He switches their hands, and instead he blesses Ephraim first and then Manasseh, as if Ephraim was Manasseh. Why? Why does he do that? Maybe he's doing that because he's legitimizing his own taking of the birthright from his older brother Esau. Maybe he's showing the love to his grandsons in a way that he couldn't do to his own sons. Maybe he was telling the world that this is the dawning of a whole new world order of justice and fairness. Maybe he's just cherishing the line of his beloved Rachel. But I think that it's also his way of saying that it's all about the future. It's about us and our children and our children's children. I'm going to pass along this covenant, is thinking Jacob, to my grandsons too, so that no matter if my sons make peace or my sons squabble, this covenant, God's promise to the Jewish people, this Torah will go on forever. And with that, even today, on Friday nights, we offer this prayer to our sons. And boy, am I glad, Kristen, that you brought a son. So that we can all turn to page 299 for the same blessing that we can imagine that Jacob dressed his grandsons with. 299. Of course, I can't find it. When he says, and put your hand on your children's head if you've got one, and if you didn't bring a child, hold the hand of your beloved. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. And then for our daughters, we say, Yisimech Elohim kesarav karachel v'leah. May God inspire you to live like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And for our sons, we say, Yisimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'chemenashe. May God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Menashe. And may we all be blessed. May we all feel blessed on this Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear that song? Let's rise for Aleinu on page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated. את השמיים ועושה הארץ, שאת כיכרון בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, ושכינתו זו, לגובה מרומים, ואלוהינו אינו. 284. אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, וידעת היום, השבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ, הארץ מתחת עינו. תקן עולם במלכות שדי, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו Our attention now turns to those who gave us life, those who walked this earth and held our hands but no longer walk with us. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. If I call out the name of your loved one, I invite you to please rise. Susan Strauss-Pinn, for whom we're in Shloshim. We are also in Shloshim for Lawrence Kushner, Evelyn Malsberg, and Alan Mentha. We're observing the yard site of Nestor Osvaldo Dron, Gloria Gary, Ben Hertzberg, Willis Hines, Ruth Cohen Craviton, Benjamin Migdol, and Murray Siegel. If there's anyone else who is in mourning or observing a yard site, I invite you to please rise and share the name. Similarly, if it is your custom to rise in solidarity with those who are already standing, I invite you to do so now. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Israel, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudisha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Say shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Please be seated. Barbara, 3 years? Yeah. This is the best part.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, Ben, for such a lovely musical service. I have one announcement. There's only one announcement. Come to temple. Services are beautiful. Well, there are a few more announcements. Sorry. The social hall renovation is happening. Is happening, but we need everyone to donate to cover the 10% that FEMA doesn't pay. Well, they don't pay 10% of most of the expenses, but then there's other expenses too. If you haven't stepped up to take the Chai challenge, now is the time. Donate a multiple of Chai, that's $18 for 12 months. If every family donates $180 for 12 months, we would meet or exceed our needs. If that's too much of a stretch, can you do $126 or $72 or $36 monthly? You name your multiple, but we hope every single member of our community, including the people who are watching on YouTube, will donate to this important effort. Find the Chai Challenge page on our website or find the link in the weekly or the newsletter. And if your workplace matches charitable donations, get the match. Lots of companies do. Many companies use Benevity for that, and we are registered with Benevity. We are very excited to invite you all, yes, all, to our groundbreaking ceremony. That will mark the beginning of the rebuilding of the social hall. Please join us Sunday, February 5th at 11:30 a.m. 11:15, I thought. Yes, 11:15 a.m., February 5th on Sunday, for bagels and coffee, remarks from community leaders and Rabbi Morit, and our musical performance by our religious school children. RSVP via the link in the newsletter or the weekly. January 20th, this is a little out of order, but it's thematic. January 20th, 7:30 p.m. right here, we will have our Reverend Martin Luther King commemorative service. Our guest speaker will be Jonathan Holloway, president of Rutgers University. We expect very special dignitaries, elected officials, and musical guests.
A gospel choir.
A gospel choir, yes.
January 20th.
Gail Blanche Gill will be here, even though she has retired, yes.
No, we pulled her out of retirement.
Yeah. The service, let's see, make plans to attend, and note the earlier start time, 7:30 p.m.
Kids are singing then too.
Wow. Yep. Come to services and double your mitzvah points by just pushing a couple of buttons. Talk to Seth Lubin right there, who can teach you how to run the live streaming. equipment so that he doesn't have to do it every single service. Religious School will meet this Sunday, January 8th, and please come to welcome our new Director of Education, Lindsay Holman, and say goodbye to Interim Director, second time around, Rosa Escandon. If you want a fresh, yummy challah every week this spring, follow the link in the weekly to order. The deadline is January 17th. Is that right, Kristen? January 17th is the deadline. Start on the 26th. That's the official date. Our next Tat Shabbat, January 21st, 10:30 a.m. That's a Saturday for singing, dancing, story time, and other age-appropriate activities. Our next Community Shabbat dinner will be January 27th here at 7 p.m. That's a Friday night. Reserve your place by January 24th. Details in the weekly email. Temple Ner Tamid is sponsoring a Shabbaton. I wonder how we know about that. A day dedicated to the love of prayer, study, and community. That will be Saturday, January 28th from 9:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. The on-site cost is $36, and the virtual cost is $18. Registration links are in the weekly. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
We're busy.
We are busy. We're having a Pajama Havdalah, February 4th at 5 p.m. That'll be a Saturday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you got to come in pajamas.
Gotta come in pajamas, grown-ups too, and with your special blankie and stuffed animal for pizza, Havdalah, and a movie, El Canto, complete with popcorn and snacks. Temple has dropped our mask and vaccine requirements, but we've established a mask required section all the way in the back.
It's very popular.
Very popular. And one last announcement that you can change the world one meal at a time with 1 hour out of your week. Help feed our hungry and homeless neighbors Thursdays at our food pantry. That's from 5:30 to 6:30. If you don't have an hour, help feed them with a donation for the food that we buy. Details are on the website, or just show up. You can donate food via Amazon, or you can donate money. All the information is on the website and in the weekly emails. You will be glad you did.
Asher Koach.
Back to you, Rabbi.
Thank you. All right. You know what?
That's longer than the sermon.
Thank God. Actually, because Trent's here, I want to do something different. Can we do the Adon Olam that we do for Bar Mitzvah? Yes, let's do that. Now, I'm not putting you on the spot. I just want you to hear it. Adon Olam.
What page are we on?
We are on 321.
321.
He is so good. He just does it like
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
Le'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, Ve'en Sheni, Lehamshilo Le'achvira Adon Olam, Beli tachlit, velo ha'oz ve'amisra, Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'et Nasa,
Le'et Nasa,
V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Go'ali, V'tzur Chevli V'etzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi Umanus Li, Menat
כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם, אדון עולם,
אדון עולם,
אשר מלך
אשר מלך
בטרם כל
בטרם כל
יציר נברא,
יציר נברא
לעת נשא וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. בידו אפקיד רוחי, ועת אישן ואירה אדון עולם. ואי רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא אירה אדון עולם, אדון עולם,
אדון עולם,
אשר מלך
אשר מלך
בטרם כל
בטרם כל
יציר נברא,
יציר נברא
לעת נשא והפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ בתיאבון. I tell you the same thing I tell the Hebrew school kids, take the first one you touch. Oh, sure. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Laughing. They started laughing a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's just like they come home like, you know. Did you have a 3 and 3 and a half? Yeah, they're really young. Abigail and her. Yeah, they're amazing. They're going to Israel, I think, in February. Oh yeah. So my parents have never been, so it should be cool. Your wife? You have relatives there? Yeah, my wife is Israeli. Oh, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, her parents are here. They've been here for like 3 months helping us. And they're Israeli, so they're going back. Right in Tel Aviv. It's like right in the middle of everything. Yeah, yeah. They're right by the theater, like the big theater. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Did you ever live there? You lived there?
No,
When you went to Cantoris, did they do
they
JTS?
tried to make me go, but
Yeah.
I was already 50, so they didn't make me go.
Right, right, right.
Good, because I had a wife and a wife,
Yeah,
but I sort of wish
yeah, yeah.
lost me.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been to Akron a few times.
Oh, cool. There?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Yeah. I did like some other tours.
Yeah, yeah.
I was hoping to really go this summer.
Yeah. We were thinking of going also. If you go, let us know. I lived there for a year. So, yeah, during the pandemic, I got married there and I was there for like a year. And it was, I thought I would be there a month or two. It was my 3rd time there and it just, she was ready for her green card. And I have a very different perspective. And it kills me that a lot of like Jewish, Jews like they don't get it. You know, I was there during I was running the bomb shelters and doing Zoom services at the same, here. And I would not trade that for the world.